composed message that was put online by Willis Raburu on his social platforms 11 hours ago has got him trending. And I believe it's for the good reason, because you've had really good feedback on the people who are asking, where is Willis Raburu, the media personality that we've known over the years, strategist and consultant, going, what is happening? And he has had a stellar career, all except his support of Man U. Everything else I support, but except that. But Willis Raburu, thank you, first of all, for coming on the Social Newsroom.
Asante sana.
I'm an Arsenal supporter,
yes,
that's why
yes,
he's laughing like this. And we
good.
always,
so far, the way this table is set up, if they can take that over a shot again, we should switch sides. You see, he has a cup, and I don't.
This is the only cup I get.
I'm representing Arsenal. Kidogo.
Hatuna kikombe.
Kidogo ni nadra.
No, my goodness. No. But
yes,
Willis, 13 years coming to a close in about 3 days.
Yeah.
And I'm sure since you broke this news, you've had a lot of messages coming in, phone calls. What are you hearing? What are people telling you? What are people asking?
First of all, people are reminding me a lot about the things that I've done, things that meant something to them. People from, politicians, from the days I used to do Truth Meter, the satirical show, modeled basically after Emmanuel Zuma's Bullseye.
Yeah.
And so some politicians have been reminding me how either I made fun of them or things that they, like one of them has told me, now I can finally forgive you.
Now that you're out of the system.
Now, otherwise nimekuwa nimekushikilia for this long. And then I've had, of course, my colleagues, some of them, because of just the nature of the way I chose to handle it, not all of them knew. So some of them, they found out this morning. Some knew, of course. So they have also been reaching out to me. And then also colleagues in the media.
Yeah.
Definitely all the people on social media with a mixed bag of reactions as well. Some of my family just reaching out to me. And, a couple of people who were saying, okay, so unaenda wapi ama ukuje huku?
So you're already getting calls.
It's been, I mean, they're not direct, but, they're suggestive.
I mean, it took a minute for me to get 1 or 2 calls about possibilities, but I mean, that speaks a lot about your career. So yes, you've broken it 11 hours ago, but this is a decision you made in terms of notifying your employer. How far back did you do that?
So I notified my employer officially around towards the 1st of June.
Right.
And this is, I mean, let me tell you, one thing about, we call him Coach. Raburu. And he has open door policy. And, when I joined Roll Media, I used to think, ni kwa sababu tu ni ya wale wase. But I mean, I can say, even when I joined and I would meet him in the car park and I stop him like, sir, I have this thing. He likes when you call him Coach because,
He's shaped many careers.
He has.
Yeah. And
so every time I would stop him and I would tell him I have this idea and he would always give his input. And this is from like when I was maybe 3 or 4 months in the game.
This is Uko 2010.
Uko 2010. So I joined actually in April as an intern. I actually, to be honest, this is the only thing I've done. I literally finished my last paper at Moi University and called Mercy Oburu at the time.
Yeah. And
got into a MAT shuttle, came to Nairobi, washed my face at the stage, tukiwa na Andersi Hachi. Tukawasha na bottled water because we were told we have to be at the studio by 8.
Right.
And if you come at 7:59, they won't see us. If you come at 8:01, they won't see us. So we went with our 1-page CV. And I literally finished campus and went into Citizen. And then that was like on probably a Wednesday. Then I was called on Friday to start my internship on Monday.
Wow.
So basically it was right from campus into Citizen. So it's all I've known.
Right.
really. Yeah, over the years, you know, people have tried to to get me to join their stables.
But you stayed true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what
I used to say I'm loyal to Royal.
what kept you? What kept you there?
I think it was the organizational culture.
Right.
I think from the time I was there, because during that time was Farida Karune and Peter Opondo and, you know, many who have come, also Joe Ageo, Linus.
Yeah.
But it was more not even the leadership, and the leadership is great. It was more my colleagues and the way we would operate, saying that, you know, excellence is a way of life. You don't just wake up today and say, today is Excellence Day, and you go and do it, you know. So
you have to be deliberate about it.
Yes, people believe that we have to be excellent. And you know how we are told you're judged by you're as good as your last story.
Yeah.
That's the lasting thing that people will think about. So what kept me was that culture. And I remember from back then, even the people who, Ellen Wanjiru, who was the one who took the risk and said, let this guy do, because back then there were certain policies. It's not the same now. Yeah. But back then, for example, an intern would not do a 9 o'clock story.
You wouldn't voice it.
You wouldn't voice it. Yeah, you can do. And the time they broke my heart, Mark. I did all the work one day, man. It was a murder case, and it was unfortunately a very unfortunate story of a bride who had come from, not a bride, but a bride to be. They had come from their rehearsals. So this is like Friday, and rather Saturday, and they're getting married on Monday. And they came for the rehearsals, and then when they went back, waiting at their gate, some guys came and accosted them and shot them. Wow. So I did the story. I went to the police and the families and did all these interviews and everything. Yeah. And then when I got to the news, I'm like, okay, good story. Peana. Peana mutuwa was the voice. So I did that for a couple of weeks, and then Ellen was like, she used to be the editor for Sunday. She was like, let's just do this thing. Yeah. I know it's not policy. And I remember as soon as Julie Gishuru then said, Willis Raburu reports, Ellen's phone went off. And for the entirety of my story, which was about 3-4 minutes, the boss then gave her a mouthful. Yes. Do you think this is a training institution? Unawaka inter nafanya story yangu story number one. You know what it means to do story number one.
It's a big deal.
So she made so much noise, and Ellen at the end asked her, but boss, unajua sasa umenipigia kelele hadi hujaona hata story yake.
You missed it.
You missed it. So she went and watched the story again. Then the next day said, oh, by that guy did a good job. Yeah. Yeah. So
Ellen is definitely one of those.
Ellen is one of those.
You tip your hat to.
Ellen.
Coach.
In terms of reporters, the ones who held my hand when I started, Sylvia Chebet, Faiza, Duncan Hemba, they're the ones who were like, you know how you have to shadow reporters. Yes. So those are the ones that would shadow Francis Gashuri. And what I liked about the place, and that, like you said, to go back to what kept me, is that no matter how big these stars looked, when you met them in the corridors, they were always willing to share. I remember when I met Hussein Mohammed, I was like, one day, you know, I want to anchor news. And he said, okay, do you like how I anchor news? I said, of course. Then he said, then go ahead and do it like you would do it, because I'm good at it, because I do it like Hussein. The way I do. Don't try to come and say, I want to be Hussein. Yeah. You just come and be Willis. And so Michael Njenga, Mwakazi, shout out to Mwakazi, man. Mwakazi used to pray. Mwakazi can pray anywhere.
Yes, he can.
You just.
In fact, when he calls you, bless
Lord. How you doing? I'm blessed, bro. How you doing, bro? And there's a time I told him, Mwakazi, you know, I'm hoping to get a job here. And so, well, bro, let's believe and pray. So I'm thinking, we'll pray later. He held my hand up in the middle of everybody passing. He's like, Father, in the name of Jesus, we bring your servant Willis. And I was like,
You're
wow.
like, servant?
I'm like, servant?
I'm just trying to get a job.
So, I mean, that kept me there.
People held your hand.
People held my hand. It's not, Willis didn't show up because, you know, of just himself and everything.
And I'd like to tell those who are actually watching, and they've been waiting for you since we started with Dr. Rugo. And if you have a question or even a message of what you remember of his career at Citizen, that's coming to an end this week. On Friday will be his last show.
That's right.
He'll tell us about that and what else he's getting into. ask your question or even just give your comment of what you think about his career. Don't mention his support of
the great Manchester United.
Yeah, let's keep that for later. But you've spoken about some of the people that you credit for your growth and your time in the career, and this is, as you say, that's why you stayed loyal.
Yeah.
Why you stayed there? So why are you leaving?
Well, I think that over the period that I've been there, 13 years, first of all, in this day and age, it's hard to find somebody who'll stay that long. Anyway, in relationships, all work. so I think that over the years, so when I began, of course, as an intern, like I say, then I went into reporting and I did different reporting things. I did political stories, and at that time, they were trying to really push me to be a political reporter, and I enjoyed it. And the phone calls and threats that came with it. Yes. I remember one time, actually, the sitting president, then Eldoret Member of Parliament, there was the whole G7 thing. I don't know if people remember, and Kalonzo was supposed to be there. And I think I focused on one politician too much, and he called me, like, young man, my name is William. I'm like, okay, so what's happening? How are you? Yes, William. And then he says, Sasa kwa hiyo story yako. Then, he went on to go deep into other things. But I think over time, what I realized, and that's why also I stayed on, like, it's just to add on that, is because, so I did reporting. And then after a while, I did political stories, human interest stories. I did conflict stories. I went into Somalia for about 38 days when Kenya went for Operation Lindainchi. And then after that, during that same time, on the side also, I started doing digital consultancy and strategy for some companies. And then now, as is it's just something in me, I wanted to try something new. So I'd always told my late aunt and my mom that I'll be on TV reading news, because the TV guy used to make my dad shut up, and my dad wielded a lot of power back then. So I wanted to be that guy to make my dad shut up.
Was that Mark Masai?
Well, it was Kinahamisi Tembo, but he had more hair than you, though. But so over that period of time, then I started news anchoring, and then after that, again, I realized that again, I was trying to do different, just like Hussein said, do it different. Yeah. And so I wasn't the typical news anchor. Yeah. I would laugh at my mistakes. I would ad-lib and do all that stuff. And I did that for a while. And the typical progression was to go to 9 o'clock. But then I realized that I love entertainment, and that just shows also my other side.
It's you.
It's me. So I went into entertainment, and
specifically 10 over 10?
10 over 10. Came up with the concept, myself, Joey, and my super amazing producer, Alex Murungi. And
Joy Mudengi.
Joy Mudengi, yes. Yes, superstar. And after that, the show came through. So then
9 years ago.
9 years ago. And so it's been 9 years, and I think at this point, I just felt it's time for me to do something new, to venture into other new things. And also just, it's been 13 years, to rest. People don't understand the intricacies, the difficulty it is. We're almost like public servants, and I would say that because we are expected to be a certain way all the time, especially if you've made the switch and with this new digital age. Yeah. So your audience is not just the people who, they want to see Mark watching TV with the kids. They want to see what makes Mark tick. Yeah. Yeah. So I realized that all these 13 years, I haven't taken a break. It's just been back to back. I'm always striving for the next thing, which is great. And even now I'm striving for the next thing, but also just to rest. And then because I've started I'm almost finishing my master's at USIU. So also that is opening my mind to greater things. And watching those lecturers also impart, then you ask yourself, okay, I want to do something more.
Is this a master's in IR?
Yes, it's a master's in, so there are two options that my lecturers are trying to help me to pick. So there's strategic corporate communication, and then there's communication for development, which are two different things, and they can take you two different ways. So I'm thinking of which one to take.
Right.
But I'm liking communication for development, because just like Dr. was saying here, people are doing things. It's just that the government is not talking to us well about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking to try out something new.
Yes, something new and big.
13 years is long enough, making me feel bad about my 14 years plus in the industry until I had to be pushed out. But, if indeed it is something you decided beginning of, actually, over a month ago now,
right,
that you notified the company,
right,
you must have thought it to yourself. This started sometime before that. When did you start thinking, hey, it's time?
So over the period of my career, I've had several inflection points and introspection points. So the thing is, I've always told even my mom and most people, and I think I even told my boss at one time, is that one of the places I never want to be is to wake up and I don't feel like going to work. And not in the sense of I'm tired or sick or what, but just imenibo. So I'm not saying ilikuwa imenibo. No, I'm not saying ilikuwa imenibo, but because I've had inflection points a lot and thought about what else, what next. Now, many times during those points, the what else, what next was within the organization. Yeah, it was within, okay, what else can I do now? I can anchor news. What else can I do now? I can do radio. I did radio for 4 years as well. What else can I do? I can do entertainment. And then now for me, 10 over 10 was good for me, because now you're directly imparting people who would not necessarily be given a chance anywhere, and giving them a platform and opportunity, and watching how their lives change. Like the whole time when Gengeton was being bashed, shout out to Ezekiel Mutua, Gengeton was being bashed, we gave them the chance in the platform. When Kenyan music, people were like, they don't play Kenyan music, we would put them on there all the time. When they had the new music, they would come on the show. Even today, last week I had a Masai guy.
Thank you, man.
And he was showing me his WhatsApp groups and
how life has changed for him.
Yeah, like even just when he put the poster.
Yeah.
Like we had a whole different set of a community that was watching, and those people now become loyal to the brand. So you recruit in that way. So for me, when now I sat down, and this actually started happening around, to be honest, around COVID.
2020.
Yeah, that's, I think for everybody, that's when everybody started thinking about, this thing could disappear. We were grateful that we had jobs then. We were grateful that the company made it so that, we cut costs here, did this to just keep the operations running at that time, because it was dangerous for people. But then it also got you thinking that the world can also change in an instant.
Yeah.
I mean, we had cases, and I'm not going to throw people under the bus, but we had cases of people who tell you something like, no, this thing is impossible. Hakuna vile tunaweza fanya news on location na auto kiukue na vitu ziran. But during COVID, they were taking those things to people's houses.
Yeah, remember Trevor's castle?
Trevor's castle. Trevor.
Shout out to Trevor.
Shout out to Trevor. La Casa de Trevor. Yeah?
Yeah, it was possible.
Yeah, so for me, I just thought, for me, the next thing, first of all, I wanted to be big, which is a lot of pressure, but I know that I can bet on myself.
Right.
And every time I've bet on myself, it's paid off.
Right.
This is including times you bet on yourself and
it doesn't go the way
you want, but you learn, so you still win.
Right.
Yeah, so for now, I'm betting on myself, and it's going to be big.
It's going to be big.
Yeah.
Willis Raburu says. We have Grace Mwendwa tuned in from Meru. This sounds like what you'd read on your show on 10. Mbuzi Wengi Radio says tuned in from Malindi.
Yeah.
Tunashukuru kwa hiyo. Watu wengi walikuwa nakungoja kama Vike 254 saying locked, waiting for Willis. BNB 254 wangapi tunangoja Willis. Now, especially now we'll get to the point of wanangoja kusikia waenda wapi, because it's quite out there in the air. When you're describing how you wanted to grow from within, Would you say there was any hindrance or frustration?
To grow from within?
Yeah, to drive you to a point of, you know what, I could bet on brand Willis Raburu.
Well, I don't think so. And even if I wouldn't call it an hindrance, because again, like I said, one of the things that kept me at Royal Media was the open door policy.
Frustrations?
So, no, the open door policy.
But are there frustrations?
Yeah, frustrations will always exist.
Yeah.
Right? And this is because, so when we move into a world where you want to lead a sort of revolution, where you understand that certain things are happening, and that's around the world, and then you bring it to a case of, let's say, Kenya, and then you bring it to a case of your organization, then you bring it to a case to yourself. So anybody, anywhere, whether it is in the the companies that we are told are the easiest to work for, you know, you see them with the bean bags and all these things. Yeah. Anywhere that you have change, you introduce an element of change, there'll always be some rebellion. Why? Because people are always used to being comfortable. Yeah. Anywhere, that's happened. So, you know, whenever you're trying to change certain models and they're not working, not because it's a stupid idea or a silly idea, maybe it's just not the time. And, you know, maybe it's not just on the priority. And if that's not there, it's not because of bad blood, it's just business. Right. It's just, you know, we are in this place at this time, we are a bit, we are trying to move in this direction, but you're trying to move in this direction. So business-wise, it's not that your idea is bad, it just doesn't make sense for us now. Yeah, so...
Or they don't see it like you see it.
Right. And this is again because of like, you know, different principles. Yeah. Right? Like, for example, I support Man U, you support Arsenal. It's different principles, but we love the game of football. Right. Right? When there's racism, we'll run around and say, whether you're supporting Arsenal or you're supporting this team, this is bad. Yeah. So for me, I wouldn't say there are frustrations. I just think that it's just time.
It's time.
Yeah.
Because, and you say now it's time to rest. And I equate you to one of the hardest working DJs in Kenya, DJ John Fame.
Yeah. That's my dude right there.
Shere.
Yeah, Mr. Shere.
You've had him on your show 10 over 10 enough times.
Can I big him up though?
Yeah.
Because John Fame, even to get him on the show, this guy is so busy. We told him, we sasa fanya hivi, hatuta kukall. When your schedule allows, tell us, we'll fix you in. That's how Mr. Shere is busy.
Every day of the week.
This week, somewhere. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he's booked.
Sounds like you tried to get him for your last show on Friday.
Yes.
Hey, come on, DJ John Fame, come on and get Mr. Shere.
Yeah, man.
Try to do something.
Localize.
Tweak your schedule.
Yeah.
You know, turn out for the last show of Willis Raburu, the last 10 over 10. Because I equate both of you, like in terms of how busy it at least seems from our perspective. And you do say that you need to rest. Things have changed over the 13 years. You're now a dad, husband. Man. I mean, look at you now grown up, you know, and you're doing responsible stuff.
That's right. Right.
How was your day like, especially in the last 2-3 years? Just draw a picture of your day that you now feel you'll be resting from.
Oh, damn. All right, so I'll give you an example of from 2020, right? The last 2-3 years. So 2020, I remember that time I was doing news, and I was doing 2 shows on Hot 96, and I was in school. And so what a typical day would be 6 to, and that time, because also we had a change, and big shout out to Linus Kaikai, because he likes inclusion. And so for the daybreak show, he said, I want to see everybody at every point. Don't just chill and wait until 8 o'clock to show up. Let people know that you're there. So let's introduce the show together, you know, and move. So for that, so I would start the show from 6 to 9.
That means you're up at 5.
Well, no, I'm up at, I don't like traffic anywhere, so I'm up at 3. Yeah, I'm up at 3. I take it to the Lord in prayer, and then I start the day. So So I'm up at 3. I leave the house. I don't see the whole thing. What?
Yeah.
But I leave the house around that time.
Yeah.
then I'm in the studio basically by 6. Let's say.
Yeah.
So 69, I had daybreak. Take a break. 10 to 1.
You're a smart one. You introduced cooking on the show. Like,
That's right.
Breakfast is sorted, man.
That's what, you know. Yeah.
I should introduce that, like have like TSR Kumi or something.
Yeah, a cooking segment here.
Yeah, because it's all water here.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
It's all water. So anyway.
What is life?
Yeah, so 6 to 9 daybreak.
6 to 9 daybreak. 10 to 1, Hot 96. And then from there, I was part of
That's what I used to say. I'm in there like swimwear.
In there like swimwear, because swimwear gets in there.
God damn.
That's right. So 69 daybreak, 10 to 1, I would be on radio. And then if it's a school day, I have to think about, of course, that time it was COVID, so getting to a place where nitakuwa na internet, nini class yanze 5. But before that hapo, you're still planning the show for the next day because it's every day. Now the busiest day was Friday, because then it would be 69 daybreak. And then
radio.
Then radio 10 to 1. Then I take a break. Then I had another radio show 3 to 7. Then I take a break. Then I come and do 10 over 10 from 10 to 1:30. Go home, sleep. Back in the office the next day because by 11 I have to be there because of reading the 1 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And then on the off chance that maybe we were short-handed or somebody's on leave, I have to do a story for 9 o'clock news that day. So there's a time I worked, I think, almost like Jesus. I went about almost 38 or something, 40 days straight, because then I wouldn't take a break. If I'm trying to take a break from this needs me. And even if it's time for like the Christmas shifts. So I would find that I'm sometimes working throughout because the time, my schedule for radio is not linking up with the schedule for TV. So I am off here on radio, but TV requires me, so I have to work. Then by the time I'm off on TV, now I have to do the radio show.
So you'd only have Sunday to yourself?
Yeah, I would have, but Sunday I would anchor news, Saturday, Sunday. So that's why I'm telling you, some days I would take a long time just to work. So...
What toll did this take on you, now that we appreciate the day
it took quite the toll, although I was still able to make a baby. But still, it took quite the toll on me because, you know, when you don't rest, also you start getting irritable.
Yeah.
You know, to the people around you also don't understand. You know, your family, you're missing family meetings. At least during COVID, there was that excuse. But before that, they're like, hey, this guy. So it gets to a point they don't even call you.
Yeah.
Like, when on a group, your family, on a pitch, I'm like, guys, there was a meeting. Oh, no, we thought you'd be busy. Yeah. And then, you know, that's why I used to do a lot of emceeing. Sometimes even coachings and talks on strategic management and all that stuff. But now that had to take a back seat.
And
because
school.
And then also, you know, I used to MC weddings, but then I did one where I was called to work. And I don't think that person has forgiven me to date. So as a rule, I don't MC weddings.
Right.
But maybe now I can start. Then, so I think it took such a toll on me that I got, and then also, so I would sneak in some time for the gym thereabouts. But then it got intense, especially for me now when it was 2019, 2020, and I was going through a divorce, I was going through the loss of a baby, and the work is still there as well. So, you know, that's the point when I also now wrote to the office, like, yo, I think I need to, because now I've also started school and it's getting intense. Let me pull out at least, let me take a break from radio. Then the other things can probably go on. And then after that, I took a break from anchoring, or was made to take a break from anchoring. And then nikaweka dread nikaingia kwa muziki.
Was that an identity crisis?
No, it wasn't. So here's the thing. I'd always wanted to put dreadlocks.
Me too, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Look where we are now. I'd always wanted to put dreadlocks. And I just found them fascinating. Yeah. And then I met Shatta Boy, who told me about, you know, why, you know, it's important to Kenyans. Because hizi dreadlocks mnasema ni ya magangster, hao ndo waliwapigania.
Right.
Ndo mkuwe na hii freedom ya kuyapia hata kuandika hiyo gangster hapo.
Yeah.
You know, so...
You had them on for how long?
2 years.
So it was a message you're putting out? Was it a rebrand?
Yes, it was my rebrand, and also I really wanted to make people understand, and that's, I know we'll talk about the book later, but that's what it's all about. You cannot for the life of you, make your decisions based on what other people will think. You can't do that, because then you're living their life. And so for the wise people who are coming to tell me, toa dredi, sijui utakosa job, toa dredi, usijui utafutwa, nini. And for some time...
What did your folks say? Your dad?
Oh, damn. Let me tell you something, Mark. Hallelujah. Sasa. My dad is a pastor. Apart from being a former administrator, he's a pastor.
Yeah.
And so we had a conversation. The thing I like about post-2020, my dad and I, we've gotten really close. Right. So we had a conversation about it at length. When I say conversation, I'm talking, I think it was like an hour. Yeah. And there were words exchanged until we got to a place where now we understand each other. And you know, when you talk to my dad, you have to have your backing. So I had my number 65 of Samson when they said a razor should not touch the dread of his hair. Hallelujah. And I had the stories of John the Baptist and Israelites and how they had locks and all that. And now, of course, Mau Mau and all these things. I had kind of my facts prepared. You know, which is in as a human or no, Willis. You know,
I've said what I've said.
I've said what I've said. Yeah. But then the thing about my dad, and I've learned up to today that I love about him, is that he goes back and thinks about it, and he's quick to apologize. Yeah. And yeah, my brother always tells me, just remember the message. And so for me, it was just like all these people who are telling me not, you know, and it got me scared. Some guys are saying, you're like, hey, unaweza futwa kazi. Say, I called coach. I'm like, coach, man, mutanifuta kazi juu ya dread. Akaniambia, are you working? Are you delivering? Does your show have numbers? Yeah. Then you're good. Yeah, just do your thing.
That was a smart way, because you knew that they wouldn't have you on news with dreadlocks.
Yeah, that was my thing. I said, you know, then let's do the thing. Let's go full entertainment.
At the end of 2 years of having, why did you decide to come on?
That's the thing. Another thing my fiancé has taught me is that sometimes there's no deep reason, by the way.
Oh.
I was like, okay, watch it.
Easy for you to say.
The day I wanted to put the dreadlocks, it was so funny. I was driving, and these guys, I had hosted them on Daybreak Locks Trend, and I was driving, and I told my fiancée, I said, hey, I want to put dreadlocks. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, hey, I want to. Let me first ask, because I had really short time. I'm like, can this work? So they said you can put artificial, and then the hair will grow into that. I'm like, then let's do it. And it was a whole thing. People were losing their minds, even in the office. And because of the things I had gone through, guys thought exactly like you said. Yeah. They said, it's an identity crisis. But it wasn't not. In fact, I was more comfortable in myself then, because I was learning to make decisions for myself and not to worry about what other people will think. And when you make decisions for yourself, you have to be ready to face the consequences, no matter how dire. That is what they call having cojones.
Yeah, you have the cojones to do that. Yeah. I mean, I kind of started with the beard, and I remember Kaikai asked me, so what's this? I told him, you know, it's about No Shave November. It's creating awareness around men needing to go and, you know, have themselves checked. And okay. So, you know, he was in on it. And then November came, and then he went, and then we're mid-year, and then
still beards.
Right. So I think we were the first to start this, because I was really trying to keep some hair, man.
Yeah.
This didn't happen, so it went south. You know, like south. I mean,
yeah, but I like that about what is true of what I like about people generally. Yeah. And what I appreciated, even like I say from my dad. Yeah. Is that I like leaders who might not understand where you are at the moment, and won't be quick to call you and say, Mark, that thing looks untidy, shave the thing.
Shave it off.
But call you and say, so Mark, what's going on? You know? Yeah, are you, first of all, are you okay? Okay. We do have counseling services here for you. Yes. So I like that. I like that about, and this is all the way from the top for me, from even Dr. SK himself. One day we met in the corridors, and he was like, guys, people are telling me I can fire you because of the hair. But I told them, are they crazy? He's working. So,
by the way, speaking of Daktari, has Dr. Masharia or Mrs. Masharia called you?
Well, no, this is the week that I am going to meet them. Yeah.
At the home?
I don't know where.
I've been told.
At their discretion.
At their discretion.
Yeah.
If they try to talk you out of it, increase pay, reduce the hours, because they can hear that you wanted to rest at least, give you time to finish your studies, family. Would you consider that?
Ah, man, I don't know. I think for me...
Triple the pay.
Triple the pay?
Yeah.
Well, now we're talking. But no, I mean, you see, the thing about it is this. Let me answer that question this way.
Yeah.
So if, say today, and I mean, and this is just Willis.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to apply this. But so even if, let's say, pay is increased, and of course, you know, there's the capability to do that. But so when you're making a decision such as this, you have to consider that what if they increase my salary? What's going to happen? You see, there are people who use things like this just for an increase in salary. They say, I'm going to quit. And then person is like, okay, all right, I wasn't really going to it. I was just playing, folks. You know,
but they say, I'm going to quit, and then there's echo.
Then like, echo, quit. No. You know, but now, you know, if you say triple the salary, I have to think of my children. But the thing I'm saying is, this is something that I had already considered, like this might happen, because these are the big boys.
Yeah.
But then my thing is that only solves a problem for a while.
Yeah.
Then I'll be back again and say, all right, I'm going to quit. Will you add me salary again? Because the thing that is at the very bottom of everybody's heart is growth. Right. If you're being honest.
If they had that conversation besides the pay and give you that opportunity and room for growth, would you?
Now, for now, man.
And I mean, look at the bigger picture, because it might happen.
Well, when? Because I'm leaving. Maybe in future.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in future.
Have you gotten calls from other stations?
I don't have to mention them, right?
Yeah, you don't have to.
I mean, I've gotten some people call me, which was, I think, I must say, is an honor. Because, you know, it's not every day that happens and then you get that type of reaction.
Yeah.
The other thing that I always say about working in media is that you can always when you're working in the media space, it's like you're in a bubble, right? So the people you know are the cameramen, and by the way, shout out to all the cameramen and the producers and all these people and the sound team, and so they're the people you know. They're the people they give you the immediate feedback. They're the ones who you walk in the studio, hey, Uliona, give me a jana, and you have that rapport, and they become like family. 13 years, most of the cameramen there and people are like family to me. Sound engineers and all these people. Same thing has happened. They've watched happen to me. I've watched happen to them. I've watched them become fathers. Yeah. I've watched them in grief, in pain, and all that. So there's that bond. So when you're in there, you're in a bubble. You don't really know that people are watching, that you have a fan base. In fact, sometimes you get shocked when you're in Malindi, huko ama Turkana, and guys like, "Wa baby." I'm like, "Aya, muna wa baby huko." Hi, okay. You know, like there's a time we were deep somewhere in the coast, Kilifi huko ndani. Yes. And guys are like, "Wa baby." There's a time I went to Malindi huko, pineapple plantations. And people were like, "Hey, Willis, you watch your cooking show," and stuff like that. So, that just means that people are watching and they appreciate what you're doing. Right. So that's why I say it's an honor and a blessing. Right. Listen, what I'll say about if I'm approached for all of that stuff is, it's a case by case. Yeah.
Wisdom, because
it's a case by case. I wouldn't say no. Mimi sasa nimekafunga. Yeah. Yeah. I am not open to anything. Yeah. It's case by case because, and especially because a place where you've worked for that long. You owe it to them to keep listening if they have something. Yeah. And then also you owe it to all these people who are seeking you out. They're not stupid, they're not dumb. You owe it to them to listen to them as well.
Yeah. Keep an open door. Yeah,
it's
and that's
just
the same thing people keep asking.
Yeah, it's just good business. Yeah. I have a former boss of mine who's been in and out of Citizen 4 times. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think for now, those are my two things: the rest, the book, my master's, and the big things that I'm working on.
And I want to hear how growth sounds for you. But there's something you described again, how long your day is. So You wake up at 3, you're probably sleeping on Fridays, maybe at 2 or whatever.
At 2, yeah.
How did you decompress? How did Willis Raburu he's almost always on high energy.
Right.
Where did you just get your...
First of all, my safest place is home. And I'm so happy to say that. That one, Ivan Amulindwa, has made that environment such an amazing place to look forward to. And the kids as well. So, first of all, my 10/10 regiment, a must. Nikitokanga 10/10 na nifike nyumbani. First, because it's been noisy, it's been all these things, it's been, high energy. I get home first and I just sit in the dark. Like I just, whoo, damn.
Yeah. And
you just chill. Like sometimes I would sit there and my legs are up and it's in the dark. The times when maybe the baby has been fussing and now Ivy is up, we talk, we talk about the day and everything and how it was. But for me, I am a very chill guy. I'm not the guy for, I was telling guys, I'm not the guy for going to Russia, you guy, my guy. I don't like crowds so much.
Yeah.
I like my space. My ideal quiet time is Netflix and chill. And okay, view sasa. Netflix and chill.
Loyal to royal.
It's just to chill and watch series and catch up with things on the phone. And I know Ivy's watching, so she's probably saying watch series and sleep. Yes, baby. Watch series and fall asleep and wake up to be told the story. So that's what I used to do. But again, I'm learning to, and by extension, thanks to Ivy, to come out more and enjoy nature, and especially now with the kids. You see, I can't keep them in the house. Right. Cabin fever. So we go out and enjoy nature, and I used to play a lot of PS until my son came through, and he fell in love with the pad. So I don't do that anymore.
It's his now.
I don't play anymore.
Oh.
But he still goes to try to switch it on. He's messed up half of my games, but
when he comes around, I'm sure you'll be
playing. Man, he'll support Manu and play PS. Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. So
you mentioned Ivy, mentioned home being your safe space. When you told Ivy, your fiance, about it's time to move on to the next and leave Citizen, what did she say?
Well, here's another thing. I mean, again, I'll say disclaimer, it's not that we don't fight, we don't do these things and all that. We do have our moments. But one thing at the core, and I think I tweeted about it over the weekend, because again, it's been a month of just thinking about it, as I talked about it over the weekend, is, you see, for Ivy, she has such a belief in me and my abilities and my capabilities. And this is a conversation we had even before, for both of us. We wanted to create a space where you need to allow the other person to be themselves. Now, this will include when they have a dark side or something they're dealing with that you don't necessarily like. You realize that, so we're not dealing with Mark, who likes to leave his socks there, or even if it's a serious thing like Mark was an addiction, we separate Mark from the addiction and know that this is a situation and this is the person. And this person's intent is not to wake up and hurt you, of course, unless it's extreme narcissistic cases. Yeah. So for her, she's always been a support. I mean, hata nikimwambia leo, babe, skiza, I'm going to the moon. She'll be like, okay, so what's the plan? How do you want to get there? So when I told her this, we had the conversation, and so we like to do this thing where we look at what is the worst case scenario and what's the best case scenario. I picked it up basically from Joel Austin. He said, you might look at the situation and say, what if it goes wrong? No, what if it goes right? You gotta believe. So we did the whole, what if the worst case scenario is this, and this is the best case scenario. And then, most importantly, are you doing this because it's reactionary? Are you pissed off? Are you in a good place? Is it something you really want? If I ask you about this thing 2-3 weeks later, will your answer still be the same? What if you, got extra cash? What if you got a position? What if you got this and that and that? Is this still what you want to do? That is a very important conversation to have. So we had those conversations, and she was on board. I mean, her first answer, of course, was yes, it's time to do it. And then, okay, so how are we gonna do it? Yeah. So because you'll have more of me, but the kids gotta eat.
Yeah,
and those people have them folks, Mali, yada, those days of appetite.
Diapers like
in diapers. So it's in and out.
In and out. So, and for mom and dad, how did you tell them, and how did they react?
So, like I said, my dad and our relationship has really grown over the last few years. My mom has always been my supporter.
And dad?
And dad as well. But dad back then, now we're doing much better, like I said. Back then it came with a lot of, how do you say it? It was also, I think, because of the nature of his job, he was a provincial administrator. So it was more of, this is the way, walk ye in it. You know, the Bible says, I choose, even, I give you life, I place before you life and death, and then it gives you a hint, choose life. So my dad was, I put before you life, and this is my way, choose it. There is no death here. We are moving. Yeah, so of course I told my mom first. No, actually, I told my mom first.
On phone?
Yes, on phone. And she was like, no more mom. Then my grandchildren, what's going to happen? I'm like, no, I'm okay. It's going to be okay, mom, don't worry. So she's like, okay. And of course they asked, have you talked to Ivy? And so then she's like, okay, I'm going to pray for you. And let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So for my dad, it was definitely a longer conversation. But I like, again, what I like about my dad now is he's like, he told me, you know what, if that's what you decided, then I think that you'll be okay. Just be at peace with it. Be at peace with your decision.
Personally.
And then we'll continue to pray. Because, I came up in a Christian background. So we'll continue to pray about it. And, just keep working hard. And I told him, Dad, I need you to believe in me the way I believe in me. Because I believe in me and I believe in God. So those two things, I don't think that I can fail. And it's like, okay, you sound confident. And so when my dad is extra serious, he calls me young man. So you say, young man, you sound confident. Huh? It's all right, go ahead. Yeah. You do the thing. But of course he asked, just like you, so akikupatia kakiru, I'm next to wanipatia basi tuone vile itakuwa, but I'm for now this is what I want to do.
For now.
And I just want to do it because it's, another thing is that, and even if you read some of the books like T.D. Jakes' Instinct, we have rhythms and pulses and flows in our life. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. It doesn't look like the right time. It doesn't make sense to the people around you, but it is only you who knows what you're actually feeling on the inside. And it's only you who knows where you are at any certain point in time. Right. The proverbial wearer of the shoes knows where it pinches. So if you feel like this is the thing, I want to move, and not just at work, and not just in leaving work. Maybe it's even to pitch another great idea to your boss, even if the last one was turned down. Go and do it. If it is to send that text to Ule Galdem, damn, she's pretty. Go ahead and do it. If it is to start a new hobby, to be more present for your children, even if you've been a deadbeat dad and now you want to change and you want to be a present dad and you want to get involved in the life of your kids, do it. If that's what you're feeling now, learn to listen and to respect yourself. I learned that also during my weight loss surgery, when now I was really just, I had never been under before. And now I was having to recover, and just what the power of the mind does, and also listening to your body and listening to yourself. That time also taught me to just, if this is what I'm feeling now, and I realized that I've been doing it over time. When I felt like anchoring, I didn't wait for somebody to give me permission. I walked to Farida Karune's office and said, boss, me nadhani naza anchor. So she told me do a screen test, and I did the screen test. She told me, and no offense to you, umesimama aje kama Masai.
As in Masai ama?
No, Masai
anachunga
ng'ombe, because I was standing with the leg like this. And I did a couple of tests, went through the proper channels, and then I anchored. When citizens realized there's a problem and there was a research that was done, and at that time we were not reaching the young people.
Yeah.
And they said, what can we do? And we sat down and said, let's start this show. Let's do this thing. Let's plan it this way. And we took it to Coach. And we were like, so Coach, we're going to need 2 weeks to do a promo and do this. He said, 2 weeks? Start on Friday. So that, taking that risk strategically gets you great gains. They took the risk with 10 over 10 and made them a whole lot of money. Yeah.
Will you miss it?
Definitely. Definitely. I'll miss...
What exactly?
For 10 over 10, I'll just miss, sometimes when you even get on the show and you're tired, you go and you look at those people who come on the show, people who maybe even I personally, I learned about them on Monday, because so the way, again, I like 10 over 10, Alex, Jalas, Ibrahim, Malik, all the people who we work with, Roba, we start picking music from earlier Saturday. So what's the next show going to be like? So sometimes they send you an artist, you've never heard of them. And Eric Musioka taught us that the first 30 seconds of a song are the most important. Unless it's, those songs that are building and there's like a story. But if it's, you just want to listen to some of the beats and the way, the artist has done the thing. And we don't discriminate. Even if you have 1,000 views and your music is good, that's why the platform was created.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss the look on those people's faces, the conversation you have after they stay back and they're like, yo, bro, this is amazing for me. Some of them say, I was almost going to give up. This is such a platform. Some of them actually show you numbers. Look, check this out, man. I had 1,000 subscribers and now I'm leaving the show with 3,000. I had 1,000 views. Now it's 5,000. People are following me on social media now. I got this gig. Now, especially the MCs who come, the dancers who come, and also just watching the journey. For example, Nadia, Mukami, Arrow Boy. Nadia started coming to the show when she was still in campus. Now she's a big shot. And same thing to Arrow Boy, when he tells his story about how he used to sell fish at City Market and just to get money for music. And he came on the show and now look at the things he's doing. New people who've come through. Yeah. The Mandis, the Sarus, the Breeders, all this. So I'm going to miss transforming lives in that way. But that doesn't mean I won't be looking to transform lives elsewhere, in another way. Because I believe that all this we're given, including Social Newsroom, the conversation you've just had right now, you're supposed to make impact in people's lives. So I'll miss that. And then of course I'll miss, like I said, the colleagues have become like family to me. So I'll miss that as well.
What would you look back on and say, I did that?
Well, damn. 10 over 10, first of all.
From inception?
From the inception, I was there with it. From the Word document to the show. To this last show, I remember that time, even during COVID, when musicians were like worried about what they're going to do and all of that, and if the music could still be played, we still sat down and came up with different concepts, like doing like a journey and all these things, and tried to put musicians on the way we knew how with their new music, and giving those who would, like I said again, those who would never be listened to at the time, giving them a platform. I'd say I did that. I'm sure if the story of Kenyan music is written in this country, I will be a part of it as well. Another thing I did, which was the first, was Kenya's maiden entry to Somalia, Operation Linda Nchi. I covered that. I was there for 38 days, missed Christmas and New Year that year. Learned a lot, got a lot of respect for the army, the things they go through, had a lot of conversations, because huko hakuna TV, hakuna nini, so I had a lot of conversations with them and the things that they go through and what it takes, what they're sacrificing to be there for us, and also just the number of threats that, we criticize a lot the NIS and the security forces, but we don't know. Yeah, they intercept a lot, like a lot of things, and so just to get an appreciation of wow, there are people actually working. Like we believe in, for those of you who do guardian angels and all these things.
Yeah,
there are actual guardian angels out there. Now, do they have flaws? Of course they do. Everybody has flaws, but that also I will look back and say, wow, I did that. I will also look back to Truth Meter. And for that same reaction right there, because I gave people an opportunity to laugh.
People thought you were competing with Bullseye Emmanuel Zuma.
No, you see, that's the thing, and that's how I normally look at things. Because even when I started 10/10, they were saying that you're competing with Larry.
Yeah.
Well, that may be the organization's view, but
yes,
because again, it's just business. These guys have this product; they're reaching these people. Let's do this product. And even for Truth Meter, it used to be on Sunday before it was moved out to Friday to actually compete with Emmanuel.
Yeah.
But I never look at things that way.
Yeah. You did your part.
Yeah.
You had your audience.
Yes, I always just look like this is me. This is what I have to do.
Did you get in trouble for Truth Meter?
Yes, I got letters from politicians. Because then we used to put the actual meter, before it went full satire. Yeah, we say that this is false, and then we'd give the reasons why.
Yeah.
And those things, of course, would be passed through by the different, I wasn't doing it alone.
Yeah. So
there were different editors and people who are actually researching. They tell you this, and you danganya. How if it's double speak?
Yeah.
So they would write letters through the media council, some through parliament, they would come, and that's how I like that. My bosses at the time would shield, and they still do now. They shield you from a lot of all of that, and they try to talk to them if they know the politician, and just like surely it's a poetic license. It's just for jest. Just relax a little, And I also got in trouble for 10/10 with the good doctor, the Zeeks. And somebody who, I think they started a petition online and they wanted to shut it down.
Yeah.
And, the good thing was that we were wise enough to put it on the watershed hour, but still there is an obligation, because when you get your license for any station and everything, you have to know that you are serving different audiences.
Yeah.
Like you cannot assume that ndio ni 10 mtoto amekuwa amelala anaweza kwa hapo anasumbua mama yake na asikia hapo umekaa sonea, and that's asema ai kama bazo anakas si bari hata mimi siniingia. So there is that moral obligation. So I'll also look back at some of the stories I did, human interest stories. I think there's a time I did a story of water that actually got me an award by that time in Muranga. Called it Deadly Waters. Crocodiles were infesting some water source, and the government came in and changed that. So people, when I tell people stories, I look back and say, I did that.
You did that.
Yeah, and then of course the normal ones, the ones you check as a journalist. Did I interview a sitting president?
Yeah.
Yes, I interviewed a sitting president. I had one in the U.S. soil.
Right.
With President Uhuru Kenyatta. At the time, So, did I interview the top opposition leader? Yes, I've had.
You did. So you did all that.
Yeah, I did all that.
Yeah, you wore the T-shirt and everything else.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, I'd want to now get to where you're going, and part of it is a book that you're about to launch that you've written, because you've spoken a lot about what has defined your 13 years in a career.
Right.
And this book is titled Undefined.
Right.
Tell us what it's about, because the name is almost self-explanatory.
Right.
But there's people asking, I want to talk about, you want growth. So how does growth look like? And someone like BNB254 Live says, Mark, my name is Brian. I'm going to take up after Willis, and this is a manifestation. Everyone is asking, so who will take over 10/10? So you'll speak about that on Who Next. But what does growth look like? Because if you're leaving a platform and you've spoken about the things that you miss, you will miss the impact, the access, and even just the growth of your brand. Where you're going, do you feel you'll get that?
Well, yes.
Where are you going?
To be revealed. I think for me, Well, first of all, let's start with where you're going. So, that's, everybody has asked me that today.
Yeah.
So for now, I ain't going nowhere. I'm just chilling. I have a couple of projects that I'm going to take, and they just have to stay on my, all my platforms. That's my YouTube, my digital platforms, and find out what that is about. And they're amazing projects. They're nice partnerships as well.
Feel free to plug them in. Feel free to talk about.
Well, we are, they're coming. I want
is
to
it manifestation or is it actual? No.
These are
pen to paper.
These are they're things. Yes, as Dad would say, we've done the thing.
You've done the thing.
Yeah, the thing has been done.
Proud of you. And they'll give you the same impact access that you feel that you still had in mainstream.
So you see, the thing is, first of all, the world is changing, and I'm going to just use an example, just to kind of give you what I'm talking about. Just an example. For example, to put on 10 over 10, to do an interview, we have, different. It's a crew of about. I remember the last time we wanted to go somewhere, it was like maybe 30 people, give or take, to put the product to go on air, and that's great because you need such shows, and like I said, it served a purpose.
Yeah.
But you're also in a world where you have, and I'll use her as an example because she's done an interview with me, Mungai Eve, for example, who has a phone and a tripod and editing software on her phone, and when she finishes, even if she's in camera, she puts the SD card on the phone, and the thing is ready. She'll edit it Apple on the phone, publish, set premiere, Willis picha iko sawa, hii title iko sawa, aya asante sana, she's out.
Yeah.
Right? So we have 30 people and 2 phones. Now, this is not to say that the 2 phones
have replaced
the 30 people,
and that their work is
this work is not to be praised, but it just gives you a point of thought, like where is the world going? It wouldn't get there tomorrow. We wouldn't wake up and say, all right, people, sasa hizi camera tufunge tutumieni masimu.
Yeah.
But it's gradual growth, right? So you can choose to wait for it to happen, or you can choose to go where it's happening. Because I believe that one of the things that happens, even if you look at just business concept innovation, and like I said about having a revolution and thinking about your concept as a business, you have to think about the future.
Yeah.
New York Times, for example, they came at a time when they were suffering. Got a new CEO who came in, changed everything, went digital, and then they created the New York Times digital platform and made tons of money. Yep. But they didn't just say, okay, digital, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. They went on and acquired New York Cooking, they partnered with radio stations, they had podcasts, they did all these things. So do they have impact? Yes, they still have readership, they're still serving their audience.
Yes.
It's just in a different way. So I wouldn't say that my impact is now saturated, but how do you measure impact? For me, it is if I'm able to change, and I learned this also just because of my faith. If I'm able to change one person, if this one person is able to smile, of course we want the million views, you want all this, but if one person, like that guy who says, I want to take after Willis, if I'm able to change him, and then he changes somebody else,
right,
and he changes somebody else, that's impact. So for me, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at impact, and for growth, it is also growing people. Yeah, it's also about growing people. It's not just about, it is great, man. If I can grow people and my bank account at the same time, why not?
Why not?
Let's get with it.
And
let's get with it.
So you've spoken about some projects, you haven't named them, but at least ones that's out there already is Midweek Madness with partnership with Semabox.
Yes, sir.
Right here.
Yeah, flagship show.
Yeah,
flagship show.
Yeah, is that something that we should expect in the space of Semabox and
Definitely, man. There is a lot more, and Semabox is beautiful.
And there's a beautiful team behind the scenes.
Beautiful team behind here.
And there's once they took a picture behind the scenes and I was asked for numbers. And
Yeah. Wanda kwanga nini? Hapa kuna nini? Yeah, God is good.
So Semabox, a bit more work there. And I wish you all the best because this is something that I embraced after you.
Yes.
With midweek madness.
Yes.
And I mean, August we should be going back on with.
Yes. We're waiting for the new season. Now Arsenal is finally number one.
For the team you support?
No, not at all, man. Okay. Saizi mko top of the table because of alphabet. Enjoy it.
While it lasts.
While it lasts. So, yeah, it's going to be midweek madness. Definitely is going to continue.
Yeah.
So, in terms, that's a sports show for those who maybe don't know. A sports show happens every Wednesday. Although we're going to move it because we're not going to move it because I don't know how my school schedule will look then. Yeah. But it's definitely, even if we do move it.
So you're bringing it back August?
Well,
back on?
No. We'll bring it back in August.
Okay.
Yes.
Just before
the EPL begins.
Okay. Yes. I mean, because there's other sporting activities going on. I mean, we saw Gor Mahia
yesterday, 20th time. Yes. So we shall be there. Thank you very much, Gor Mahia.
Can people expect? Are you starting your own channel? Or just you?
I do have my own channel.
You do have like your own weekly thing where you because you've posted stuff. Yes.
Right.
But can people expect to see you somewhere digitally? Because you don't want to go quiet, much as you're resting. Where can they get you?
Definitely, they can get me on my YouTube channel. I'm so happy. Just today I gained, I think, maybe 2,000 new subscribers. I was at 105, and now I'm at 107K.
Damn.
So let's keep on growing because that's where definitely you can find me.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to be doing more content, things I'm passionate about. I think that people should expect that definitely.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm also going to be, helping people. I'd also like to shamelessly plug my fiance. She's also starting a podcast soon.
Hey.
Ivy. And,
what's it about?
It's about motherhood.
Motherhood.
Yeah, which she does absolutely well. She's a star at that. And she gets a lot of questions and stuff on her page. So she look out for that. I know you people have been asking for that. And then I'm just going to also focus on, listen, let me tell you what, I respect people. And every time I even just sit, most guys who are in my master's class will tell you I sit at the back. And sometimes I sit at the back and I look at all these people and they come in, some are happy, some are sad. And like these guys, they're working, they have families, and they're still in school, which means like it is in you to always seek for growth, like I said.
Right.
That is growth they're looking for over there. They're paying money, they're sitting there from 6 to 9 after a long day at work to just get information and to move to the next level. And I'm excited about that, and so definitely check out my social medias.
Bro. So, Babu, I mean, I'm looking at how you change, how you dress. You look like,
Yeah, shout out to Divine Collections.
There's a nice coat.
Yeah, thank you. This is Divine Collections. They always do the thing. Shout out to them.
I mean, you all well shaved.
Yeah, siasa, maybe ni siasa imeniingia.
Because there's a time, because I follow you and I watch keenly. There was a time you do many photos with governors, like the new governors. I was like, what is this guy up to?
No, that's just, I mean, let me explain. Some of the photos is because they're my friends.
Yes.
Some because maybe, like I said, I do a lot of digital and communication strategy.
Got you.
So sometimes that's how those photos happen. And sometimes, you just go and pay a kata seko. Say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? I think you need help here.
And I can help you.
Drop the ball,
yeah.
Bro. Drop the ball.
Is that something you'll get into, advising politicians?
I have actually been already doing that. It's just that because sometimes you sign NDAs or, again, you don't want to be seen. Because if I come out writing that I'm advising this one, then automatically I get a party affiliation tag.
Right.
But really, I'm just, again, for the betterment of their life and the lives of the people around them. And if that communication can help, then I'm in there.
But I mean, you have charisma. Would you consider politics later?
Yes, I would consider politics. I would, definitely.
MCA, Senator, MP?
MCA, USA, USB.
Come
I don't know.
It seems like you've thought about it. It's crossed your mind.
It has definitely crossed my mind. It has crossed my mind, and so that is another thing we'll have to do again. We'll have to sit down.
Because you're advising them, and almost like you're studying the scene, and like, I think this is how it should be done. So if you're advising governors and county governments, Why not serve directly? And we've seen people transition from media.
From that. I mean, it's a discussion you have to have. I tell you why. I tell you what. The thing about leadership in this country that is sad is that because even, I mean, we've been in news, and the big chunk is taken by politics. And so the politicians kind of become our celebrities, and the people demigods, demigods and people we look up to. So it makes somebody who wants to go into politics, not go into politics to change people's lives, is I want to make money, I want to secure the bag for my family, I want to do this. Now, if that's your idea going in, then we'll never get rid of corruption, and we'll never solve some of the issues that we're talking about. So for me, if I do get in politics, it will be for my two main things, growth and impact, and not for me, but for the people, because it is service. You are a servant of the people, and a servant of the people doesn't really look at them. Yes, they deserve to be comfortable, but not at the expense of the people they are serving.
Got you.
Yeah.
So we'll get to who's taking over 10 over 10, but first, Undefined.
Right.
When did you start this project? What is it about? Yani umeandika kitabu.
Yeah, man. Nimeandika kitabu, man. You know, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So Undefined was actually birthed during a very painful yet reflective time in my life. So that's the time when I was going through, or rather, actually getting ready to go through my divorce. Yeah. And then also the loss of my baby had just happened, Adana. And so at that point, the things that were happening around me, because again, if you, first of all, everybody has everything to say about everything. First of all, just without being that now you're a Christian, without now being that you're a public figure, without now being that, oh, you're supposed to be a role model and, you know, you didn't really sign up for it, but yeah, I say we live in an aquarium. So I realized that there's so many people trying to pull me in different directions that if you listen to this person, you're then now defined by the church. And, you know, it says, God hates divorce. Not thinking about the context around why he even said that he hates divorce at the time, because of what the Jews and everybody was doing and putting out the women in different ways. So then you become defined by that. Then your family says, this is our culture in this family. This is what we do. So you can't do this, you can't do that. So then you're defined by that. Work. A person of your caliber and your stature should not do ABCD. So then I realized all these people are trying to define me. All of them are trying to put me in a box that is conducive for them, so that there is less noise there. The church doesn't want me to get a divorce because tunakaanga mbele, inaweza kuwa egg on the face. So my family, of course, probably it hasn't happened in the family maybe, and they don't want the embarrassment, and they're also concerned about you, definitely. Work is just worried, okay, if all these things are happening, man, are you okay? Are you still going to be able to deliver? Is it going to bring so much bad press? And then if you listen to all these voices, you know, you're pulled in different directions. Then you still have your friends in there. You still have your own things that you're battling within there. So at that point is when I started thinking, okay, even generally in my life, I've never been put in a box. You know, even in campus, people in campus, I went to Moi University, they will tell you, I did a show, man, Mimi, way before, I don't know before, I can't remember the time, but I did a show where I had an alter ego called Penina. I used to cross, I was like Madea.
What's that?
I used to do shows, comedy shows, and charge people 30 bob. And they would pay, and they come a whole like 2-3 hours, and include other comedians in there, and do a whole set. It was something. Guys from my university will tell you. Penina with an I used to say. So I did all of that. And then, even then, they said, oh no, you can't. We had a radio station that was just starting called MUFM. It had a 5-kilometer radius. And I was like, sasa hii radio 5 kilometers, nani atafanya hapa? Hey, man, I would do like almost all the shows. Right. There. And now that later on in life gave me, like if you put a mic in front of me, I wouldn't shy away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now that kafia is gone. So I did that when people were like, this thing won't make any brand. And shout out to Gilbert Langat during those days of MUFM. So then when it came to media, remember this is a guy who was doing comedy shows. And then you switch on news and you see this serious guy.
Cartoon.
So guys even in campus are like, hey, Willis, you turned out the whole opposite of what you were. But I always knew that thing for entertainment and content and everything was in me. Even when people had started, I remember even when we used to have fights with the bosses back then, kuweka tu ile www.seasontv.co.ke. Unaambia mdosi, you know, there's something called trends. What are those? No, wachana nayo.
Yeah.
You know, but of course over time they changed. So I just realized that if you're waiting to be defined by all these people, then you'll always be in a certain box with a certain set of rules. Now, rules are good, but not to your detriment. Yeah. So for me, Undefined was birth of that. In fact, that time I remember I erased all my bio on all my social media and I just put that word Undefined. That's it. And I'm like, let's think about it. So then went to the US at the time to kind of, you know, recoup. And I started writing, but it proved a bit difficult. So I shelved it. Then I started writing again, shelved it. It was hard to write. Then I met CJ Atemo. And I was like, hey man, we call him Sage. I'm a Sage, man, you have written 10 books. How you do this thing? So he's like, I have some people who can, you know, can help you. So I met with his team. And so we were able now to, you know, use modern methods to write the book. And they've been so gracious to me. They walked me through what it's going to mean, what it's going to take. And now the book is ready.
It's ready?
Yeah, it's available on pre-order.
Okay.
We're going to launch it in July. But now you can pre-order. If you pre-order now, you get it cheaper than...
You're able to say the figure of cheaper ni
the cheaper ni 1,500.
Nime pre-order.
Yeah.
Consider this a pre-order.
Very good indeed.
Nitakutumia direct.
Thank you.
Ama watu wanaweza tuma wapi?
Yes, so I'll tell you the till number. Can you whip out a pen? Are you writing? When I whip out a pen, bwana, I write this thing. Till number, bwana.
Yes.
For you to get Undefined, the till number is 80 68 540. 80 68 540. 80 68 540. If you pay to that till, it will give you back the name Willis Raburu, which is me. And then from there, I'll send you a message and I'll tell you what you get for being the people to pre-order. Because of course, you get special preference than the guys who will actually buy the book when it's launched.
For 1,500.
Yeah, now it's 1,500.
When are you launching it? When's the date that we should expect?
So I'm going to announce it in July. You know, we have to keep the team.
Keep.
So we're going to announce it in July. And it's, I mean, for me, it's so exciting because, again, it goes back to what I was telling you about impact and growth. Right. I think that if somebody reads that book, and it's also giving me a chance to say things in my own words. A lot of things have been written about me, you know, when it comes to the divorce, when it comes to losing my baby, when it comes to, you know, now being in a new relationship, when it comes to how I got into work, how work has been, the environment in there, lessons I've learned, how I think the media should change. Yeah. All of that is going to be in the book. So if you're somebody who wants to be undefined, if you're somebody who is just starting, if you're a media or communication professional or a digital or a strategist of some sort, a consultant, or you just want to get inspired from the story. Yeah. If I inspire you in any way and you want to know how I got here, then get the book.
All right. In Undefined, Willis Raburu seems to be saying, "Will, I am this. You thought or tried to define me as this. What's the one main thing you're telling people? You thought so? Well, I am Willis Raburu. I am this."
Well, I am undefined.
In terms of describing you.
In terms of describing, okay.
Yeah. The biggest misunderstanding of how people thought they could define you.
The biggest misunderstanding that people have of me is that they think, for some reason, I'm not a serious guy. And this is because of, different personas, so that they've engaged me in different places. Some of them, people see me as that 10 over 10 guy who lost the plot because in a haribu watoto. But the biggest misunderstanding is that people think that because of that, that I don't, for example, think through my decisions. But I'll tell you, and most people who really know me will tell you, before I make any decision, I have Yani, nimeifikiria, nikafikiria A, B, C, D, E, and every other angle. So I am indeed a serious guy.
Yes.
I am a happy soul. I don't like getting angry. I think it wastes a lot of time. I don't like cussing people out. I used to avoid confrontation, but these days, if you know, I don't do the whole. Me see, I'm like Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Sijafika ile place, if you slap me this side, I'll turn the other cheek.
Yeah, Jesus still working on you.
Yeah, Jesus, he working on me deep. Right. And I realized that even as I was driving there last week, I was like, well, that's Niko expressive. This thing is coming out.
Undefined.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so I think, and that's the thing that also I would tell my colleagues, even in the media, is as you're in the media space, again, you sometimes lose yourself because of the boxes that people have placed you in. That because you're a news anchor and you present news and it's very serious, that is what that calls for at the time.
Yeah.
You can't be talking about Shakaola and be smiling. Yeah. You can't be talking about all these serious things you're talking about here with Dr. Abraham. Serious things touching on Kenyans, and you're smiling. So you have to take on that role. That is your job. And this is a challenge that I had Pastor S say. And he said, most of the times when I ask you, who are you? You quickly define yourself by what you do. But that's just what you do. That's not who you are. If you say, who are you? I'm a doctor. I'm a journalist. I'm a communication professional. But that is what you do. That is not who you are. So sometimes we define ourselves so much by what we do that you forget who you are. So everything, your persona, everything is derived by this person who is supposed to be serious. But that's not really who you are.
Who is Willis Raburu?
Willis Raburu is a happy soul.
And I was trying to give you a plug there. Read the book to find out.
Read the book.
The final question, and I'll pay, and I'll pre-order just now. And as we remind people, the till number. Nani anachukulia 10 over 10 after you do the? First of all, who's your big artist, big lined up for this show?
I don't know if I should tell you. I can tell you. Let me tell you. What I will tell you is this: that this last show is must watch. Because first of all, you know, like we started before COVID, we had like 200 people on set. Then we went down to 40. No, first we went down to nobody. Then we went back to 5. You know, because also there was the whole thing. So now we're gonna have people who have been in the audience from way back.
Oh, nice.
They're gonna come. And I know they're in different places, but they're just going to come to enjoy the show. Yeah. And we're going to have artists who you've literally watched grow on the show.
Wow.
Some of your biggest artists, let me tell you, it's going to be a concert.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Calligraph Jones. Calligraph Jones, shout out to Calligraph Jones, man. We don't talk a lot, but when we do, we realize that, I like first of all, his work ethic.
Oh, yeah.
Is amazing. Calligraph has songs even now, and sorry, I'm going to say it, OG, that he's done even videos for. But he just hasn't released them. Like, he was showing me videos of things that are in his album. Like, why you not release them? Unajua tulipiga tu video lakini sasa mazee, unajua. So, but Calligraph has always honored me with his presence on Number 10. He doesn't do a lot of interviews. Yeah. But he's always honored me with his presence. He's one of the first artists who actually mentioned me on, or allowed my name to be mentioned in his songs. He's mentioned me, I think, in 3 or 4 songs. And I remember the day I was watching the first one, I think Brida is the one who did it. Nishaka funga 10 number 10, Nikama Willis. Then he said 10 number 10. Big shout out to 10 number 10. Big shout out to Willis Raburu for putting us on again and again. So I was like, damn. Mama. Yeah, so it was an amazing moment for me. So shout out to OG, man.
And I predict some joyful tears on Friday's show. I'll be watching this.
I will tell people this, another misconception.
Yeah.
People believe probably they don't know this, but I cry very easy, man. My tears go to hapa. And more so since my kids came.
Yeah.
I think it
does that too.
Yeah, my tears are like,
brings out the whole.
Like my son tells me out of the blue, he's just playing. He was like, Papa. Like, yes. He's like, I love you. I'm like, oh, okay, I love you too.
Yeah, my son's still getting the hang of the word because he say, I like you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's so cute that they're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
hey, we're not about to try it.
Yeah.
This is not an Oprah show. But hey, we could start it anyway. I wish you all the best. We'll be tuning in.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking out for the launch of the book when you announce it in July. We'll be on your pages, just following you because people really love you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure many salute what you've done for the industry. You've shaped cultures, and I really appreciate you for coming through. You say you're, undefined, you're never boxed, but uko sema box, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
One box.
That's one box I'm here.
Yeah,
na tunaisemea hapo kwenye box. Yeah.
But bro, really, I mean, people have defined you as a Man U fan. Can you just consider changing that, man?
No, that definition I'm okay with. That one, I can live with that.
Nani anachukulia 10 over 10?
I don't think it's my place to say.
You started the show. This is your baby, man.
It is, but
it's like you're handing over your baby to be married off to someone else.
But then if I do that, you see, I'm also a believer in letting everybody shine. So if I do that, I'll take away their shine in the moment and the way that it's been structured to house them.
But on the show, will there be a handover?
We have to watch the show to find out.
I like that.
Yeah, you gotta watch the show.
Is he gonna be starting as well?
He or she or they.
Just trying to track.
I know what you're doing. Napoona sana. He, she, or they.
Yes.
Will make sure that the thing is taken to the next level.
Yeah. So to he or she, what's your message to the person taking over 10 over 10?
And well, I laugh because I probably told them this already. But anyway, I think I'll tell you first of all what Hussein Mohammed told me. If you've loved what I have done on 10 over 10, then it's because I was doing it as myself. The Willis who showed up there was authentic Willis. Of course, there are moments when I had to really put on a brave face because like I was doing the show right off the bat of losing my baby. So I'll do the show, we'll cry in the car. But just do it the way you do it. Make it yours. Make it your show because you can. The reason why you have been selected to do the show and the reason why there is that opportunity is because you can. Nobody is trying to see if, well, I won't even let that happen personally. I will be on your or
rear end.
Yes, I'll be on your rear end or rear end.
The tail end of the show.
Yes, tutakuwa pale because it's an amazing product. And remember, it's not about you, it's about impact. And this would happen when people would try to con people about, oh, you have to pay to be on the show. The reason we are given platforms, and you'll be on the biggest platform. By the time I was leaving 10 over 10, I was doing like 3.5, 3.8 million viewers a Friday. It's the biggest. So use the platform for people. Use it for other people. Yes, you'll grow yourself as a byproduct, but always remember it's about the people. It's about those, you have been given a chance. So now it's upon you or y'all to give the chance to the next person, to that musician who has struggled to put money aside and shot a video and has got their 1,000 views, or to that one who is established and wants to come on and encourage and also show other people that you can actually make it. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to the show. Damn, I'm gonna miss it, but it gotta go on.
And to your fan, Winnie says, good conversations today, wishing Willis all the best in the new endeavors. What do you say to your fan who's made you who you are?
Yeah, to the fans, you have made me definitely who I am. Because, but, I always think about it this way, and these are things that I learned along the way, is that you're always doing a show. Michael Njenga taught me this. He said, you're always doing the show for 4 people if you're a host, and this can also help the coming people. Is number one, you're doing it for your boss who's watching. You're doing it for your future boss. You're doing it for yourself. And then the most important person, you're doing it for the audience. That now is the ultimate boss, the ultimate people. So without the audience, there is no Willis. You guys have made me, both on 10 over 10 on social media, my 1.5 million people on the gram, All of you have made me who I am. And I am totally, totally indebted to you for that. Now, I ask that you don't stop, being the audience. If you love Willis, stay on my social media. You'll find other reasons to love Willis. I guarantee you. You will find them in the coming, not so distant future.
Yeah.
You'll find those reasons. So stay with me. Stay with me. And just like I'll use again Joel Austin. He says, if you stay with me, he doesn't say stay with me. He says if you stay with God. But basically, if we stay together, we're definitely going to do things that have never been done before. We're going to do things that are going to be great. And we're going to do things that are going to ensure growth and ensure impact. And I'd also just like to add, because I've seen some of these conversations already, I think for the government, number one, let's get serious about the people we appoint to head content creation, head musical organizations, head ministries and all that. I know we have to reward people etc., but let's get a bit serious. And even if you were appointed there and probably you have no idea, learn. Talk to people, listen to people, listen to the environment, because content creation is a space where people are now, especially in a world where all these taxes are coming up, in a world where job opportunities are few and far in between. Content creation is the next frontier. People are putting in effort so that they make some money. So do not despise it. If you don't understand it, learn it. If you are out there, you're a content creator, do it. Keep doing more. Keep putting yourself out there. However, though, always understand that it exists in a boundary. I see a lot of people sometimes, you don't even tell, because you keep pushing the envelope, you forget where the boundary is. Mm-hmm. So just be careful that you also don't put your whole life out there, but the bits and pieces you want to do it. Again, I might not know why you're putting your whole life out there. That's just how you choose it. The people who like it, the people who don't. That's why I talk about being undefined. You don't have to follow the rules as written or said by Willis. Run your own race. You can learn from Willis, by all means do. Read the book. But ultimately, after you learn, you make your own decisions. So I love you all. Thank you so much for being with me 13 years at Royal Media Services from when I started in 2010. And now, as I go to the next thing, I know that you're going to be with me. Please keep tuning into Citizen TV this week. I'll be saying my goodbyes on the different shows I do. Tomorrow it's about relationships. Wednesday is a holiday. So Thursday tunapika kama kawaida. And then Friday we'll do some entertainment also on 10/10. So let's end this week big. And then from there, musiniwachilie, munishike mkono, tunaendelea. They're great. Let me tell you, there are amazing things coming. Yeah. You won't be disappointed.
And Emmanuel Zuma says, Willis is a media personality who is incredible, talented, and universally acknowledged. Wishing him the best in all his endeavors. Kennedy Ariembi says, awesome, and thumbs up kama tatu. And let me say also awesome for the viewers that you've given us on the Social Newsroom. Awesome. And also your time just sharing your story. We were the first to speak to Willis Raburu hours after he announced his transition into the next big thing. And as I think he's giving you a sneak peek of where he's going when he's talking about the content creation. And amekubali yako kwa box, tumemweka box.
I will say this, the reason also why I decided to do this is because you, first of all, you're Mark.
Ah, man.
You're my guy.
Thank you.
We've had a lot of conversations even away from this. But also number two, I totally respect the digital space.
Gotcha. Yeah. And speaking of digital space, tukumbushe payment for that book as I make my first pre-order, and please do if you're online, and we could probably show the book as this Undefined book that you'll be announcing in July.
Yes, it's out now. So if so those who get it now, first, okay, let me first tell you how you get it. Yeah. So the book is called Undefined. If you want to get it, you go to 8068 540. That's the till number. Right. 8068 540.
Gotcha.
8068 540. It will bring you my name, Willis Raburu. It is 1,500 to pre-order the book. You can go ahead and put your pre-orders in now. Those who pre-order, at least the first 100, I will make sure I deliver them to you. Wewe mwenyewe.
Yeah, make it happen. I've already.
Yeah, you've done the thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have done the thing.
Yeah, you see it, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Nini. Yeah, M-Pesa for business. Shameless plug.
And BNB 254 again says, thank you, Willis. It's really a journey to learn from. A lot from you. And,
oh wow, big shout out to all these people, man. I see you here already doing the thing.
Yeah, doing the thing.
Yeah, man. Julia Sande, Esther Masharia, Ogola Okoth. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for.
Yes, sir. I mean, you have a following. People love you, and you've done a great job. And I salute you for this courage and wishing you all the best. We'll be together. We'll be walking this journey together. Yeah. And let me just hug you, man.
Yeah, man. You ain't no dog.
Cameraman.
Yeah, man. You know. Yeah. Wale watu Arsenal. Okay. Yeah. So I can finish with that one.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one. In fact,
we go.
Ni Caribbean. I'm Tony. Ni kipara ya Mark.
Yeah, I was born to shine, bro.
We go back.
Yeah, we go back.
Oh, we go back. Okay.
They'll listen to you. Yeah.
Just
tell us loud.
Break the nini.
Yeah.
Now it's good.
Good. Yeah.
All right. So this is a testament of the upward trajectory our lives are about to take. So keep it here.
Keep looking up.
Keep looking up.
Yeah, keep your head up.
Keep your head up. Look up to the hills, though. Always remember to pray, by the way. I always say successful people look like you.
Thank you.
And God loves you, and that will never change. Whether you're in a brothel, you're in hospital, you're in the church, you're in the street, you woke up in the wrong bed this morning, you made the wrong decision, you made the right decision, you're with the right person, you're with the wrong person. Mungu anakupenda. 1 John 4:8.
That's our time, Pastor.
It says,
what? 10 over 10 on Friday.
It says God is love. It says God is love. So let's meet on the streets of the Citizen TVs this week. Alafu baada yao nitawapeleka na rada.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Well, baby.
What a day!
Good night.